Get the yawns out, Shaun. So
Yeah, man.
it's 8:30 here a.m. What time is it over there?
11:30. I'm back in Montreal.
Oh, you shouldn't be yawning at 11 unless you were on the plane, you just got home.
I'm jet lagged.
Oh. Hey, when we get on every Monday, I'm just thawing out, dude. I see bags under my eyes. I need some runway because I wake up, I rush Logan to school, and then I try to make it to this, and as I kind of wake up here in the room with you.
Should we push it back a little bit, or are you?
No, this is real life. This is
Oh,
the shit, man.
okay. I mean, this is good timing for me because in the afternoon, I just like I fade.
Yes, I think it's important to capture our essence quick in the morning before we start drifting, and
I'm
with
dripping.
ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I texted Shaun this morning. I said, "Hey, let's do an opening question," and I'm sure he rolled his eyes, but he said, "Sure." So
I
we
didn't
don't
roll my
know
eyes.
why. That's my insecurity. We don't know what we're gonna ask each other.
You
I
want to
have a
go
feel.
first?
Yeah, I have a feeling yours will be fun and mine will be kind of deep. Um, all right, here's my question to Shaun, and also listener, for yourself. Chew on this question. What are you currently avoiding in your life, and how is that avoidance impacting your life, affecting your life?
What?
Don't say the dishes, Shaun. Let's go a little deeper. I know it's in the morning, but what are you currently avoiding? What are you avoiding in your life? Oh, look at Shaun rubbing his head.
I
Is it
mean,
too
dude,
much too fast?
no. It's just that I'm on a low right now. I'm not feeling great.
You just got home. All right,
I'm
Shaun.
no. It's okay. I've got the post travel blues.
Okay, we can. What's your favorite color? Just
Oh,
kidding. I'm
I
just
mean,
kidding.
I've been liking green lately. Um,
Oh, you look good in green.
I'm not. What am I avoiding? I'm
What are
avoiding
you
like
avoiding?
a lot of things.
Just pick one. What comes to mind? What are you avoiding in your life right now? And how is that? How does avoiding that impact your life?
I mean, I'm avoiding. I don't. I'm avoiding work.
Hmm.
I'm
Why?
also avoiding my relationship with my mom.
Oh, why? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean,
Why?
works whatever. I'm in transition, and it's just like hard to get back to work after being on vacation. Like I think everybody
Yeah,
struggles with
yeah.
like no one. It's Monday morning. Like no one wants to be like, okay, well, I'm just gonna get back to work. But
You're right.
yeah, with my mom, like I just have a hard time connecting with her, and I don't
Mm.
really want to do the work.
Oh, so yeah, you're not avoiding her as far as like you're not cutting her out of your life. You're just kind of avoiding her because you need a break or you're setting some boundaries, kind of thing.
Well, I'm avoiding her because I don't know what to talk to her about.
Hey, what is your relationship with your mom like? I know with your dad, you guys are really close and used to ride motorcycles. It seems like a very a relationship that many, I think, men wish they had with their dads. Uh, were you close to your mom, or are you close to your mom or no?
Well, here's the thing about my mom. I could talk about her a little bit. The thing is that she doesn't really want me talking about her. My parents
Oh,
never wanted me to talk about them. I
right.
remember when I first started my old podcast, the Love Drive
Yep.
podcast. I was like talking about my parents a little bit. My dad was like, "Hey, we don't want you talking about us."
Wait, how did they know? They
Well,
obviously
I
follow.
think they like listened to an episode,
Oh,
and then I was like, "Well, that sucks because how am I supposed to like share
right.
things about my life if I can't talk about my parents?" And then I said, "Well, can I just say that I have parents?" You know? And
Wait, were you
he's
saying anything bad? What were you talking about?
well, hold on. I said, can I even say I had parents? And he was like, "Yeah, we'd rather you didn't." Like they didn't
Right.
even want to be like acknowledged as me having parents. You know, it's like kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Private
Um,
people.
very, very, very private people. Um, what was I talking about? I don't know, just like things growing up. Um, are you good, John? You want to mute that? Here, I'm going
Yeah,
to
you could
mark
hear it.
this. I'm going
Yeah,
to
mark
mark
it.
it. I'm going
Sorry,
to
I
mark
gotta. This
this.
thing's falling. This thing's falling.
Tess, you can just like clean this
Okay,
up a
good.
little bit.
I'm good.
You good? Yeah, I would talk about some stories, some that happened in my past that
Mm,
probably didn't make them look super good, but like everybody has stories like that of their
yeah,
parents.
I could see that. I could see them not wanting that, out in public. Uh, You know what's great with me is my dad's not here. My mom doesn't know what the internet is. I've talked about my parents many times. They'll never hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unlikely that my mom's going to hear it either. But I still have to respect her wishes.
Sure.
Basically, my relationship with her is not as close as it was with my dad.
Right.
And my dad was her everything. Right. They were together for 42 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's just like learning how to be on her own.
Right.
And we just don't have that much in common. So
how
it's
is
hard
she? How is she rebuilding her life? Does she have friends, or is she kind of isolating?
Yeah, she's isolating.
Yeah.
She's always been that way. So I mean, they're like I said, they were very private people. My dad was more friendly with other people,
Right.
and had friends, had motorcycle buddies, and
Mm-hmm.
dudes he went to Cabo with, and got drunk with. But she just like reads and goes swimming and watches TV and stuff.
Dude, my mom watches Korean dramas pretty much 11 hours a day, goes on her walk, and then comes to my house every Sunday for exactly 1 hour to watch Logan. That's her entire life.
Yeah.
And I keep asking her, you should get involved in groups. You got to go out. I mean, you can't just sit at home watching Korean dramas. And she promises me she's happy. And I think because she worked her ass off for most of her life, and also took care of my dad. There was a lot of codependency. My dad was an alcoholic. Just the fact that no one's bothering her, I think this is heaven for her. And I see her life as like, oh my gosh, she must be so lonely and depressed. And she's like, no, I'm good. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I that's kind of what's happening with my mom too. And I think we need to realize that just because that's not how we would do life doesn't mean that it's not a totally valid way of doing life.
Yeah. Yeah.
She asked me once like how I was doing with my dad's death, and I said like probably better than you because I am working, I've got friends, I've got community, I'm working out, I've got groups, like I'm talking to people about this stuff on a regular basis, whereas she's not. And so I think that the grieving has been easier for me, but also I didn't lose my partner of 42 years.
Yeah. Geez.
So it's like a totally different thing.
That's hard, man. That's like losing a limb. That's like losing a part of you. Those kind of relationships. People have been together for that long, and if there was a dependency in that, a lot of our parents, there was there was no such thing as like self-help back when our parents were growing up. You went and saw a therapist if you were depressed or if you were something clinical, but this overall wellness and how we were studying relationships, what's healthy, what's not. There wasn't a lot of that. So a lot of our parents fell into enmeshment and codependency and very sticky relationships. Yeah.
It's funny, when I went to therapy for my, the first time, I was in therapy for like 3 or 4 years or something. And when I stopped drinking at 25, that sort of like put a mirror up to the rest of the family's drinking because we all kind of partied and drank together. And my dad really didn't like it because he was kind of a hard drinker. And he said, he's like, yeah, I don't know about this therapist of yours. If you broke your arm and you went to a doctor and a year later your arm still wasn't fixed, like, don't you think you should get a new doctor?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's how mental health works.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, that's what I'm avoiding. John, what are you avoiding?
You can't use my question.
Oh,
you can't
I can't?
Yeah. No, you have to think of your own. That's the whole thing. Two different questions. Yeah.
Yeah, but why can't we both take turns answering it? I've got one for you too.
It's less interesting. I think it's more interesting if now you ask me a question that's that you thought of.
Wow, it kind of feels like you're avoiding me asking you that question.
This question. I totally am because I don't have an answer, but I'd rather you give me a fresh question.
Okay, fine. Do you feel like you're not living up to your potential?
Oh.
And if so, what are you avoiding?
I was just
live up to your potential.
I was just talking about this in my men's group. I run a men's group now every other week in my garage. It's very fight clubby, and
you guys fight?
No fighting. That would be kind of cool. One day they'll show up, and I got a line of gloves, and I'm like, guys, tonight we're doing something different.
Slap club.
I have this false belief that I'm the almost guy, that I can run the football to the 90th yard line, but I can't score the touchdown. And that false belief comes from my story. And so, your question about potential, it's loaded and it's interesting because I never feel like I'm at my potential. I always feel like, um, so I work very fast. I always try to turn ideas into reality, right? And I'm good at spinning a lot of plates, but I don't like finish. I don't, And so um, my potential, I think, lives. Um, you know what? I'm learning now as a 51-year-old, that maybe potential isn't defined by scoring the touchdown, but more of if you're kind of showing up in the most honest way, right? So I was obsessed with scoreboards. I was obsessed with considering success as I don't know how much money you have in your bank or what you own, all the kind of like predictable definitions of success. And now I'm thinking, um, if you're living fully and you're living and showing up in an honest way, maybe that is where potential lives, not so much what you've achieved, right? Or so I'm trying to redefine the word potential.
That's cool. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I feel like you and I operate differently. Like you have a hard time finishing. I have a hard time starting.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I've been
Yeah.
talking about writing a book for like 4 years.
Right.
You know?
Right. I have a lot of friends who, it's funny because we are the opposites in that way. I noticed that I have a lot of friends who envy me because they're like, dude, you think of an idea, you're already off to the races. And then I envy a lot of people who, once they start, they're thorough about it and they actually finish. So, um, they're both good and bad.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty hesitant to start things that I cannot finish.
Yeah.
And so I've just been saying no to a lot of stuff. But I could probably learn from you a little bit and say yes to more things, even if I don't end up finishing them. That's okay.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of projects that I started, and what I got from them wasn't that they were successful, but something along the way happened that turned into something else that was successful or meaningful. So it's like
Yeah.
the journey of creating something ended up giving me more value than the end product, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm at the like precipice of signing up for this leadership program
Hmm.
on that thing that we talked about, the like anger management smacking
Yeah.
cubes thing. And I started doing all the homework assignments and some of the reading, and like I'm like feeling a lot of resistance to actually like
Mm,
sending the payment in and like fully committing to this thing. And now I'm looking for like ways out of it
mm.
because I don't want to commit to this program.
Why don't you want to commit? Because did you lose interest in it, or
I
what's the
lost
fear?
interest in it. I've read some of
Mm,
the readings, and it kind of feels like it's a little like esoteric, a little like
yeah.
hokey, since like using like really old readings from like the 50s where like
Yeah, yeah,
they were
yeah.
still like diagnosing women with like hysteria or something, like just weird shit.
Mm,
And so part of me doesn't really want to do that, but also I see the value in just like jumping into a thing regardless of what the curriculum or the protocols are, is like just having the experience.
dude, that is my life philosophy. I'm a conceiver, man. I'm a conceiver. Like Vanessa, my partner, is an absorber. Like she loves information. She would go to school for the rest of her life. She loves learning. That's all great. I like conceiving. Ever since I was 12, I was like, I don't want to read about stuff. I want to do it. I want to actually experience it. And so, yeah,
This is a blend. I have to read some shit and then experience some shit. And
yeah.
like I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. There's a lot of things I don't want to do in life, John.
That's
I'm
why
feeling
that's why Sean's always in bed.
yeah. I mean, man, I am feeling pretty depressed.
Mm.
Like I said, these are the post-travel blues. I'm also detoxing from nicotine.
Oh, were you smoking in
No,
Europe?
I was vaping and using
Right.
like Zyn in Berlin, and then I wasn't. I didn't. Then I lost my laptop in Munich, and so I like doubled down on
Mm.
nicotine because I didn't want to feel all of the feelings
Oh,
of losing a laptop and feeling like an idiot and all that stuff. And so now I'm like day 2 of not using nicotine, and I'm feeling it. I want to eat like garbage and lay in
yeah.
bed, and like I'm just like reaching for any sort of source of comfort.
Yeah, you're in the come down, the return back at home. Sometimes you travel, you come home, and you're like, oh, like you actually have so much gratitude for your own bed, and all the comforts of home that you've taken for granted. I feel that all the time, but other times it seems like you're more in the state of like recalibration. And did you come home thinking, fuck, I wish I didn't live here, or I wish I was back in
No,
Europe?
it was a home sweet home for sure, and I'm
Yeah.
happy to be back. And my house is super cozy. One thing I realized, this is so dumb though, but I left my AC running for a month.
At home, it's
Yeah.
not on temperature control. It's just constantly on.
It was just on. It was just
Oh,
on. It was set
wow.
to the coldest, and so it's like, this is so dumb. But my buddy who was watering my plants kept on turning it off, but it's on a schedule where it turns off for an hour every night and then turns back on, and so it would just turn itself on at 3 a.m.
Oh man. So now you're broke. Now you have a high electricity bill
and my apartment's cold.
and your apartment's
Um,
cold.
it was definitely home sweet home when I came home, and it still is. I'm like really happy to be here, but it's just like I kind of just wish I was still on vacation.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you come home is that like you're faced with all the
Reality.
stuff that
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta open your life book and back to the dog-eared page.
Yeah.
Read it.
And I don't want to. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in reality, I don't want to be answering emails. I don't want
Yeah.
to move forward. I don't want to submit homework assignments for this program. Like I don't want to do anything.
Many feel what you're feeling now. How do you push through this when you don't want to, or you're in this space of, this, I call it the slippery well. You're like,
I think you do some of it and you don't do some of it, and you rest, and maybe you work from bed. If you're lucky to work from home, you can work from bed. That's what my buddy does every Monday. He works from bed every Monday morning.
never leaves the bed, huh?
For
Just
Monday morning, he from
wow.
9 to noon, he's just in bed working instead of being at his desk. He likes to
Oh,
ease into it.
yeah, yeah. All right.
So that, try to eat good food. But even though that's like not what I want to go and eat croissants and bagels and pizza and like more of the hedonistic kind of thing.
For me, it's out of my house, out of my head. I would need to go move. I need to go on a motorcycle ride. I need to not be in my distorted thinking. Like just go, find the nectar of life. Go get my pour over.
I mean, I will do all that. I'm also recovering from COVID.
Wow, lots of layers.
Yeah, lots of layers. Yeah. No, I'm not at my best, but it's okay. I'm like relatively in good spirits.
Also, it sounds like you had an amazing trip.
I did.
How many weeks were you gone?
4 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. Dude, you were gone a month. You went everywhere. You did. That was a very thorough trip.
And it's funny because I didn't really want to go when I was like, I was happy when I got there, but
yeah,
I was enjoying Montreal so much this summer. Like it was such a beautiful summer that I actually wasn't ready to transition to a European trip. But of course, when I was there, I like got into it,
Was this whole trip for your birthday or was it?
No, it was for a wedding.
Oh, and that was the catalyst.
Yeah. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to go out there, I might as well spend some time out there.
Right.
All right, John, question for you.
Yes.
You
asked your question already. That was it.
Okay, this is different. We're changing gears.
Shit! All right.
No, you're gonna like this. I need your help.
Okay, let's do it.
I am prone to overthinking.
Yes.
Okay.
I do sense that about you.
Yeah. Do you? Are you not?
No, I'm the other way. I don't think enough.
Okay.
I underthink. You overthink. I underthink.
So,
I don't think things through, and everyone that I've been with have always been frustrated about that.
Is that true?
It's true, man. I fucking sign deals on napkins. I have an idea, and I'm already fucking building it. I mean, I underthink. I don't do any research. Like I said, man, I'm a conceiver. I go, man. I'm a muzzled greyhound. Chasing that little stuffed animal or bunny around the track.
You're a lot of things.
Yes, I'm a lot of
things.
Now
you're a muzzled greyhound.
Today I'm a muzzled greyhound.
So
yes, you overthink, I underthink. I noticed that about us.
Yeah. As you know, I want a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm overthinking it.
Oh, of course, of
I'm
course.
doing all the research, first time tattoo regrets. You know,
Also, the
people are,
tattoo that you're doing is just words.
well,
It shouldn't
now,
require overthinking, or you want something
well,
different.
do I just want words?
Oh,
Or do I
now
want,
you want graphic, or you want,
do
yeah.
you want something with the words? People are like, don't just get words, get something else, you know. Do you want it upside down? Do you want it so that other people can read it? If you're going to put it on your arm, you have to
Oh
think about,
God, giving
wait,
me
hold on.
anxiety, man. Listen,
Hey,
Shaun. You,
hey,
you had
whoa.
an idea. You had an idea. You had an
Yeah.
idea. If something came to you, something felt honest. Execute on that idea. Just get the words just stamped on your wrist like you said you were gonna do.
Okay.
Let me give you a story about tattoo. I got this
Yeah, yeah.
tattoo. This is one of our first tattoos. It says resist nothing, right? I
It's on your
thought of
forearm.
it.
It's on your
It's on my
it's on the
forearm.
front of your forearm.
Yes, it's a typewriter font and giant words. It says resist nothing. When you first get a tattoo, they're very shiny. I didn't have any other tattoos, so this thing stood out like a fucking sore thumb. And I remember I got it. I looked at it and I was like, "What the fuck did I do? Why is it so big?" And it's just glowing on my arm. It's like, oh, and I hated it, and I regretted it, and I was like, "What am I doing?" I had to go to a party that like right after that, so I went to the straight from the tattoo to this party, and all my friends were there, and they're like, oh, wow, you got a tattoo, and they just said you got a tattoo. They didn't say anything good, anything bad, and I knew instantly. It's like when someone gets a haircut, they just say, "Oh, you got a haircut," and they don't say anything else. It means that it's horrible. No one liked
Mm.
it.
Mm.
So that was the beginning, and then a few weeks went by, a few months went by, and the tattoo starts to fade a little bit. It's less shiny. Started getting other tattoos, and then people started complimenting it. They're like, "Oh, dude, that's an amazing. I love that." Or like if I was getting photographed, they would photograph this. And then I started liking it. And so I'm just saying, it's there's a life to this. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be times that you love it. There's going to be times you're like, "Yeah," but it isn't a constant. It isn't a light switch. There's this whole relationship with your tattoos that's going to work.
Yeah, no, I love this. That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
And also, I think tattoo regret is it's like a very common thing from what I can read or what I've been reading on the internet.
Yes. Yes.
That often goes away after a couple of days because you're not used to seeing your body with tattoos.
Well, if you were in your 20s and you're like, dude, I really love The Simpsons and I want to get, something cartoon character on my ass. That's very different than you at your age now wanting some words. I don't think you would regret this. You may like it less, you may add more stuff, you may like it more depending on where you're at in your life, what it means to you. But I don't think this is something you would regret, you know?
Well,
It's not a
people
tramp
also.
stamp.
So is your resist nothing facing you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
when you can.
think the thing is my tattoos are all notes to self.
Right.
So your tattoos, it depends on if you want your tattoo to be like art for other people to see and notice. For me, they're all just bookmarks and note to self. I mean, this whole arm is just words that people can't read, but I can read them.
Right.
I have
Okay.
listener. I have a I have a forearm full of like when you take an exam and you want to write on your skin the answers. That's what my left arm looks like.
Yeah. What do you got on there?
Just random shit words. Die
Any?
without wonder. No risk, no story. I used to be a miserable fuck. Fuck well rounded, sharpen your edges. Some of these I'm kind of embarrassed about. Like, why did you write that? But some of them I love, and my arm just looks kind of dirty. But I think it works for me.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your help.
Is that
Here,
sarcasm? Did it
no,
really help?
no,
Okay.
it was helpful. Well, here's one of the things people say when talking about arm tattoos
Mm-hmm.
specifically. If you're going to have one, if you're thinking about having more, then it does impact the one that you have because you have to think of future placement.
Mm.
So if you're thinking of getting a sleeve, think about that before you put your first tattoo down in the middle of your forearm.
I think so. I'm always about what's underneath. That's how I approach life. And so with this whole tattoo situation, I think the value actually isn't the tattoo. It's you as an exercise just pulling the trigger on the tattoo. And then that tattoo would have meaning. So every time you look at your tattoo, it wouldn't just be what the word says, but the story behind the tattoo and the fact that in this instance, you didn't overthink it. You just went and did it.
Yeah, it's also funny because the tattoo that I want says "good enough," as in like don't
Yeah,
overthink it.
yeah. I love it. I think it. See, like that's what. So my next tattoo, I'm gonna have Logan write her name before she gets old enough where her name is written well. So right now, her cursive is all over the place. I want her to write her name, and I'm gonna shrink it, and she's just gonna do it with the Sharpie, and I'm gonna tattoo it on me, and so I could get her penmanship when she's. Oh my God, Vanessa just fucking flashed me. Vanessa flashed me right now on the she's watering the grass. She comes to the window and she flashed me. Anyway, sorry.
Lucky man. Lucky man.
I don't know what that's about. Is that her seeking attention? Is she trying to draw me away from us?
I mean,
What's
it's
going
cute.
on?
It's cute and it's funny and it's playful.
It's not really her though. I mean, I guess she's done stuff like that. I think. Anyway, maybe it's homework from her therapist.
Yeah. Do we have to cut this episode short, John? Do you have an assignment?
Guys, I have to go. I'll be right back.
I'll just talk. I'll just talk for 30 minutes.
I have a small window. Listen, you got to get this tattoo, not for the tattoo, but to practice and break the pattern of overthinking. And here's what I love. Every time you look at the good enough tattoo, which is on your arm, dude, that's going to give you, it's like a note to self where you're like, oh, like you might be working on some huge project and you're like, I don't know. You're going to look at your arm. You're going to be like, dude, I gotta go. I'm overthinking now. So,
I mean, that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea behind the tattoo.
But if you overthink the tattoo, then you're not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, okay, it's still a big commitment, right? And it's like my whole life, I have been a tattoo-free dude. I never even thought I would ever get a tattoo, except for as a kid, I was like, I'll get Felix the house cat or Felix the cat. But so like, this is literally a 2-week-old plan to permanently ink my skin. So I think it's okay to think about it a little bit.
Yes. Well, also to give you credit, it's your first one. It's your first one. So the first one is always the most thinking the angle and what color. So because it's your first one, yes, that is fair. After 2 or 3, it's literally just I walk into tattoo shops without even knowing what I'm going to get and just getting something. So no, I'm not saying do that.
I'm going to trust the artist to help with placement and size and orientation, and all that stuff, because that's what they do. And I've already emailed one artist in Montreal to ask about consultation/booking. So I am making progress.
I think that we should make you accountable. We got to follow through. I want you to follow through on this. I want to see you next week or the week after, and all you do is you show up to this podcast and you just hold your arm up. Boom.
Well, I just told you I fucking emailed the artist.
Yeah, it's happening.
Okay, I'm working on it. I just got home like 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, do you need to take a bath to something? The anger stuff is.
I might need to take a bath, actually.
A bath, right?
It's hard, man. It's kicking nicotine and just not being. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit, but that's okay. I'll be okay.
Well, I'm glad you're back, man, and I'm glad you had an amazing trip. It sounded epic. So.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm taking the bounce up as you're coming down. I'm going up, man. I'm getting excited about things. I'm doing the jet ski thing that you thought was very boring, and I'm doing a digital series. This is my first series with like a director attached and shit. So this is very exciting to be able.
I'm sorry. What do you mean digital series?
I'm working with a studio called Wayfair and Man Enough, and we're taking 4 dudes that would never hang out together. So like an MMA fighter, fucking the Uber guy, some guy coming out, and then I'm taking them through a journey in my LA. So group, like fucking group work and ice plunges, everything I do, hikes, the fitness,
like a group hang, like a men's group hang, digital, like it's going to be recorded and like produced and.
Yeah, produced, director. It's a documentary. So a docuseries.
That's sweet. And it's going to be, where are they playing it? It's going to be online.
It's going to be on Man Enough platform, YouTube, and then the bigger pictures maybe I secretly would love to sell as a TV show, so maybe on a streamer one day. So
Amazing, dude. You just
Yeah.
like drop in some like, oh, I've got this mini docu-series coming out that we're
it's been in the
producing.
works, but a lot of shit's in the works, and then I talk about it and it doesn't happen. I feel stupid, but this one
Right.
just got greenlit, so we'll see.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome. You got that? You've got the fucking book?
Oh, so I have a lot. I've got my book just came out, Break Up on Purpose, and then next month I have an app coming out. So I've got a lot of tap dancing to do.
Compared to you, I feel like I am not living up to my potential in the career field. Like you might feel like I'm going to sex clubs and stuff, but like career-wise, I feel like ages behind you.
I mean, listen, it's a fair exchange, right? I'm doing a lot with business, but you've had a lot of great experiences. They both matter.
Yeah.
There's joy in both.
We also have 10 years to catch up to each other.
What do you mean? Are you saying? Because I'm
You're
50?
10 years older, so I got 10 years to catch up to where you are career-wise, and
Yes.
you've got 10 years to catch up to me sexually wise.
Well, first of all, dude, let's not say that it's a sexual thing. God, people think I'm a fucking pervert and I've got a problem. It's not a sexual thing, Sean.
No, if anybody
It's
thinks
experience.
anybody's a pervert, it's me, not you.
Well, I'm a little bit of a pervert too, but it's everything that you're doing as a single person that I wish I had done when I had opportunities when I was single. It's not just about sex. It's about you being nomadic, traveling, fucking going to Europe,
Eat, pray, love.
It's all that. Yeah.
Eat, pray, love.
I was in K-Town broke with styrofoam coffee and Wayne Dyer in my ear. That's all I had. And so I had just enough money to buy a small motorcycle, a 620 Ducati. That's all I had. You are traveling the world, and you have hot French maids bringing you towels, and you're having sexcapades. So that's the part that I'm envious of.
Just to be clear, that's the only sexcapade I had in Europe.
Listen, how many sexcapades do we need?
It's one good one. Good one.
Exactly. Well, that's one less than I've ever had.
Well, I'm happy for you and all of your projects, your endeavors.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's just work. I don't. It's weird, man. I don't feel excited. I gotta sit with myself and make myself excited, because I tend to minimize things, and I gotta check myself often.
I think experiencing joy is actually quite difficult.
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about like joy, accomplishment, like feeling fulfilled. That's hard to do.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know.
I think part of it is because for most of us, we've been living in fight or flight. We've been constricting, not practicing the expansion. And so it's hard to find the coins in the rainbow because we're all focused on the giant pot at the end. I know for me, it's been like until I get like the big thing, right? So like, for example, I've always, in the last 5 years, I've been trying to manifest or work on doing a TV project. 2 came my way, like big ones, and they bottomed out. And so technically I'm doing a TV project, because I'm doing that kind of project because there's a director, producer, studio involved. But it's digital. But because it's digital, I wonder if I'm minimizing it or not seeing it as, the big thing I was going for. And I'm stripping the experience. I'm stripping the joy by saying, because it's a digital series right now, that it's not, it's not the prom queen that I want.
Yeah, we also have to realize that, like, that's a great stepping stone.
Well, also people are saying, John, digital is actually getting bigger. So there's I don't know if you know this, maybe just because I live in LA, TV and film, that whole business is collapsing.
Yeah.
2025 will be the first year that YouTube has more viewers than streamers.
Wow.
There are big companies like Netflix that are doing well, but very few. Most streamers are not making money. They're firing thousands of employees. They're just collapsing, and so there's a panic. I have friends in production who are not working. Like there's this huge thing happening. Yeah, turnover happening, and what's exploding is digital.
Yeah, and influencers. I have a friend who works in LA, and he says influencers are kind of like toppling the whole thing on its head because they come in with a huge audience or
a potent audience. So you could be a micro influencer and that there's value in that. You don't have to have a million followers. Yeah. I think it's great, man. I grew up in LA, and there's always been a giant wall. My ex-life, I was a screenwriter. There's always been a giant wall between the artists and the people that can say yes. And now that wall's down, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, everybody, next week we're having a whole episode on breakups. So John and I are going to talk about his book, Breakup on Purpose, but we're also going to take questions about breakups, stories about breakups, strategies on how to deal with breakups, all breakups, all episode long. So leave your question at 657-549-1001 or go to my Instagram, click the call button. That'll go straight to that. We're doing all breakups. So send us your best breakup stories, questions, comments.
Also, I just want to say, Shaun passed with flying colors the friend test, because I said, "Hey, Shaun, do you mind if I talk about my book on our podcast?" And he said, "Yeah, of course. Why don't we do a whole episode about it?" I was like, "Oh, okay. That's so supportive. That's so generous. That's so nice."
But it's also like, it's like 100% in this wheelhouse of this podcast is talking about love and
I'm not talking about, if I said, "Hey, I wrote a book about dogs." Yeah, but still,
we could mention it for sure. If it's about dogs, definitely we'll mention it.
Yeah, but no, you know what? But still, you know what? There could be people. I could have a partner who's like, I want to keep this train white. I don't want any graffiti on this train. And also, I also feel like when you write your book or any project that you have, this is our space. Like, this is our billboard. We could do whatever we want. So I'm going to be supportive, obviously, in anything you want to build.
Cool. Yeah, knowing John, it's going to be 3 of John's projects for every one of mine.
Not true.
True.
Well, we're going to support each other.
That's on me, dude. That's not on you. That's on me.
Yeah, that just means you better fucking hurry up.
All right, check this out. You ever get an email like, "Oh, someone signed me up for something"? Like, you could sign.
My phone rings with spam. I get emails. Just random shit all the time.
I got an email today. It was like, "Hey, thanks for signing up to The Feels," and I'm like, "What the fuck is The Feels?" So someone signed me up to The Feels, which is an in-person dating event in LA, New York, and DC.
Oh,
they also have queer-friendly events and like people and events for like non-monogamous people. Do you know about this shit?
It might have been me. I might have signed you up. No, I'm just kidding.
John.
No, but it would make sense because you go to things like this all the time. Why are you shocked that
I didn't sign up for it? Someone signed me up for it, but then I looked at it.
Companies
give
cool. No, but companies give emails and slip it to stuff. There's a lot of shady stuff happening with emails.
For sure. I mean, I know, yes, for sure. I know how email lists work. But like, this is like, "Hey, thanks for signing up for The Feels." Like, I never signed up for it. Anyways, It looks kind of cool, except for it's $100 for the event, and it's like a 3-hour event, so it's not cheap. And it's in LA, New York, and DC. So if you're single and you're thinking about something, look up The Feels, because it's
the feels like FEEL, like I feel something. The Feels.
Yeah, The Feels. Oh. Yeah, the Fifis. And it's like some in-person event, like dating for single people, facilitated with like a cool, mingling experience.
Yeah, I get the play on words. It probably means like you're gonna feel something emotionally, but also literally, like there might be some touching involved.
Oh, dude.
Like. The feels, like I'm gonna feel you up.
Dude, I've been watching Nobody Wants This.
Yes.
Holy
Amazing.
shit.
So
it
good.
makes me want to be in love.
I think that's why it's doing so well. You know why there's all these memes going around saying this is the first time that love in a romantic comedy has been portrayed in a healthy way. Like, you have a good guy who's not, the fucking bad boy, who's not, cheating on you, who's not, and then you have the woman who's actually looking at her shortcomings and fears. It's so sweet, and it's I think that's why it's so popular. And I mean, it's clever. I love that it's set. Anything set in LA, I love. But yeah, it's showcasing dating in a healthy way.
That, and it's like it's reminding people of the early stage dating when you're crushing really hard on someone. You've got that new relationship energy.
Oh yeah,
and you just like you want to spend all your time with them.
Yes.
and you can't stop talking about them, and it's like kind of annoying to everybody else, but also like the most fantastic thing to the people that are in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's
The hand
reminding
on
people of that.
the hand on the face kiss is what everyone's talking about. His hand on her face.
What?
When they kiss, there's I don't know. Are you there yet? Have you seen
Oh
them
yeah.
kiss? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Back of the head. I mean, the whole thing was
Yeah.
was so cute.
Cute, gentle, and yeah, it's
And it's not perfect either. Like he's it's complicated. He's a rabbi. She's a shiksa. There's like all sorts of little complications that make it interesting.
Do you know why it's called Nobody Wants Us?
No.
Nobody wants them to be together. That's why it's called Nobody Wants Us.
Oh.
Yes. But they find a way.
Well, I'm not all the way there, but I do have a question, voicemail that's very relevant.
Let's do it.
Okay. Let's go, everybody.
Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm 47 years old. I'm single and dating. And I met this great guy. Totally great, chivalrous, courting. I wanted a slow burn. He's hot and heavy. He did a lot of things that kind of deterred me, like save me as a screensaver, try to buy me things very too early on. I thought it was a love bomb, but it's not. He's really a genuine guy. However, now I have the ick. How do I reverse the ick? It was too much too soon. He's a great guy. I just want to reverse the ick. How do I reverse the ick?
She must be watching the show, not our show.
I mean, dude, the ick is like it's a big deal.
I didn't know about the ick until I'm very I don't know about anything pulp culture. I didn't know about the ick until I saw them talking about it on Nobody Wants Us. The ick.
Oh, dude, the ick is huge. It's like when you get it, it's like really hard to get rid of it, and it often is the death kiss to a new relationship.
Is the ick also an excuse to not look at your stretch? You know what I'm saying? Is it just judging someone really fast and checking out when not giving them a chance?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I think, how do you get rid of the ick? Like, okay, I don't know that it's not possible in every scenario. Sometimes it's just too much. So the ick is actually like a deal breaker. But
hey,
other times,
question. What are some icks for you?
I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten the ick.
So someone coming on too strong, I think one ick might be if someone says "I love you" way too fast. Like,
well, that's coming on too strong, right?
Yeah.
Well, in Nobody Wants This, it was the sport coat with the basketball shorts.
Right.
It was the sunflowers. It was him saying "prego" in an Italian accent.
Yeah.
It was all these things all at once that were where she just like it turned her off. You know.
For women, shoes. If you're not wearing the right shoes, or your shoes are like there's holes in your shoes, that's for a lot of women deal breakers.
Well, the thing with the ick is that it usually comes after you've crushed, and I think that if you have really terrible shoes, like they're not even going to get to the point where there's a crush. That's the thing with the ick is you have to crush first, right? And so in Nobody Wants This, they talked about what was going on. He was like, "Oh, was it the sport coat? Was it this?" And then he said, "Like, I'm here. I love you. I want this to work." They kind of like work through it. So I think like the ick doesn't just go away without you talking about it.
Got it.
I think.
I mean, I think the ick's different for everyone. For me, I'm not really superficial. I don't care about, clothes or what's hip or. For me, it would be like if you're too, if your parents have too much power over you, make your decisions. If there's other things I think deeper that would be an ick for me. Not so much like if someone has bad breath.
Yeah. I don't really know what the answer to this is because I think you're right. It's very personal to people. And it does kind of feel like the things that people get an ick about are superficial. Like they don't really matter in the long run.
My fear with the ick is, especially with Gen Z, putting weight on a lot of things that we shouldn't be putting weight on, and suddenly we're judging and we're not giving the person a chance. We cut it too soon.
Yeah, it's like prevents you from going deeper with the person.
I think if you're turned off, you should still keep going. There's a difference between an ick and a non-negotiable,
How do you keep going if you're turned off?
No, well, if you're
It's like
constantly
everything
turned
they
off,
say is fucking annoying,
well, then that's just not a good match. That's just not a good match.
No, but it was until they said one thing and then it just turned you off completely. That's the thing with the ick is I don't think it's like it doesn't really make sense. And then it sort of clouds the whole thing.
All right, so if you're on a date and the guy says a dad joke, it turns you off. That one joke shouldn't then shadow everything. If there are great things about if there's chemistry there, if this has potential, because he said a shitty joke, or because his joke fell flat, or it was outdated, or let's say he's wearing a belt or tucking his shirt in or something, you're like, oh, that shouldn't be a deal breaker, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I don't think this stuff makes sense.
Right.
Yet it's overpowering, and it's preventing us from moving forward.
Yeah,
like it's not. Yeah. It's not logical. It's not rational.
Yeah. I don't think we helped the person, but whatever.
No, we helped. We helped somebody. We helped somebody. Okay. You want another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Shaun and John. My name is Stephanie. I'm 36 years old, and I'm calling from Canada. Last year, my partner of about 2 years was having an affair. I caught him. I read the text on his phone, which were quite explicit with this woman, and he begged me to stay. It's been a really rough year since I've stayed. We've fought a lot more. I've put my foot down, and I've just been trying to get over it and work past it, and I still think about the text that I read and the messages that I saw and the acts that they did together at least 4 or 5 times a day. My question is, how long do you give something your best effort before you acknowledge that it's just really never going to work? And I guess part 2 is, do you think that someone can get over something like this fully? Thank you so much. I'm really loving the work that you guys do. Take care.
So it is hard, and I gotta say, infidelity is, I would say, probably one of the hardest I've seen in couples. One of the hardest things to, and the word's not to get over; it's to heal from. And the reason is, we can say we forgive, but we end up slipping it in our back pocket. So if she is thinking about this 4 times a day, it's consuming her. She's thinking about the text and what could have, how it was and all that. She has to get to a place where she has truly forgiven and let go, or else it's gonna haunt her. It's gonna ripple into the relationship, right?
Well, it already is, right?
Yeah.
They're fighting. She can't stop thinking about it. It's been, I think she said it's been a hard year. So like, it's been a long time, and she's still thinking about it 4 to 5 times a day. This might not be something that she's able to heal from.
Well, also, no, but I'm wondering if she's seeing a therapist about it, because I think that's required. I don't know if just you being in your head and white knuckling this is the way to heal from it. I think it's getting into a room and saying, hey, I told my partner I want to give this a shot. I have forgiven him on paper, but it's still coming up, and I'm bringing it into the relationship. And you and the therapist, you work through it, and you're like, oh, it's not just about the cheating. It's what it's activating. And she's got an abandonment room, or whatever it is, right? And I don't want to minimize the cheating, but understanding it. And also a therapist can help you understand from your partner's point of view what happened, and understanding it is going to be what gets you to kind of heal from it, or else it's always going to be the big monster, you're afraid of.
Yeah, so therapy, I mean, here's the thing with therapy, though, like not everybody can afford it.
Yeah, I know it's expensive, and
just because you've been cheated on doesn't mean like that you have the means to do a year of therapy.
Sure.
Also, maybe couples counseling at the same time. Like, if you have the, it's like if you have the means.
Yeah.
But also, is it possible that she just can't recover from this?
Yeah, and also if you don't want to, that's okay too. You
Yeah.
know,
Because
if
she
you're
said
like,
she was
hey,
kind of like talked into giving it another chance.
mm,
So if this is just too painful and you're not able to get over it, it's okay not to.
sure,
As
sure.
long as you don't continuously, like, you don't bring this into every relationship moving forward. And you have trust issues and you're going through your partner's phone because you still have some unhealed stuff around this.
I gotta also say, the behavior of the person that cheated is a huge factor in this, right? So, if your partner cheated on you, but they are also looking at it, working through it, and expressing why that happened, and and just really rolling their sleeves up with it, that's very different than someone who's like, you know, defensive about it, or look, it just happened once, or minimizing it, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a huge factor, and I don't know if he's really how he's participating in this.
I mean, these are all great questions, John. You're, as always, very thorough in your wanting to comprehend the situation effectively.
I paid $60,000 for my master's in psychology and spent 6 years doing 3,000 hours. So,
Nice. I'm usually like, yeah, you guys should just break up.
boy, that works. Sometimes that's what they need. Sometimes that's what they need.
Yeah. Well, remember, like, one of our mottos was like, come with questions, leave with
Leave
more.
with more. Yeah. I love that. Shaun, let me ask you,
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship, say 3 years, and your partner cheated on you, how would that, well, has that ever happened? And how would you handle that?
I've never been cheated on that I
Yeah.
know of, nor have I ever cheated on anybody. So it's hard to put myself in that position.
Yeah.
I have been betrayed, though.
In what way?
Like, I was in a sort of an open relationship. It was like mildly open,
Mm-hmm.
and we had rules around what we could and couldn't do, and there was a betrayal there where she ended
Oh.
up sleeping with a man, not having sex with him, but sleeping with him, and making out and that kind of stuff. But we were supposed to check in before, and she didn't, and we eventually broke up just because I'm like, hey, if we're gonna do this thing, like, I want you to, I want us to abide by the agreement that we had.
Sure.
But it didn't feel like a huge betrayal.
Yeah. Because it was
I don't know
mildly
how I
open.
Huh?
It was mildly open.
It was mildly open. Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole thing. We were going to break up anyways. She was not committed to the level that I needed.
You know what's
I don't know.
interesting is sometimes, and I think most people would say, sleeping with someone without any sex, but just like waking up in the bed with someone, is actually more threatening than the actual act of sex.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way, but it's funny because we broke up. This is a longer story. I'll tell the full story some other time. But we broke up because she wanted to be single, and she moved to Costa Rica to be single, and she ended up ended up moving in with this dude.
Of course.
This is the guy. Yeah.
Of course.
So I don't have the full story. I don't really care about the full story. It doesn't really matter. I think some people would be like really, really fucked up around needing to know all of this and how did this happen and why did this happen. I'm just like, fuck it, we broke up anyways. Like, it doesn't really matter what the true story is. But also,
well, also a lot of times when you want to be single, that's when you get the most suitors.
Well, I think that she hadn't been single since she was 20, since she was 17. She hadn't been single for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And so I think she's just not able to be single. Because she was in a relationship when we met. It was an open relationship, and then we became primary partners, and then we closed the relationship, and then we opened it again, and then she found a new person. So I just don't think she's able to be single. That's how I see it. I don't take it personally.
Do you ultimately want monogamy, open, poly, or you don't know?
That's a great question.
It seems like you've had experience with all.
Thanks, John. Thanks for asking. That's a great question. It's something I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
It's something I've been thinking about.
Well, you're single. You should be.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that I might, I might just be a solo polyamorous person.
What is that? What is a solo polyamorous person?
Solo polyamory is just like, you are non-monogamous, but you don't have a primary partner. So you're basically just like dating.
So a solo poly just means you're single. It's like you've done full circle. You've come back to single with a different title.
It means that you're single, but that you are not intending to be in a monogamous relationship.
Right. So you could love multiple people, and the partner that you're with can fall in love with multiple people.
Yeah, or the partner that you're with could already have another partner. That's not a prerequisite for you dating them, is that they don't have to be single.
And there would be no jealousy or any struggle for you with that arrangement, or there would?
Oh, well, there might be.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you do with the jealousy is the more important question.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you deal with it? Do you key their car, or do you talk to them about it and like practice a lot of self-care and make sure that they're able to provide you with some care and love that you need? And, there's a lot of strategies on dealing with jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know. I think the problem I have with identifying as someone who is polyamorous is, as you know, I struggle with FOMO, is that I fear that I will not attract a monogamous person. I will lose out on a potentially awesome monogamous person.
Oh, because you're choosing
polyamory, because they won't be interested in someone who's polyamorous.
Well, the dating pool definitely shrinks
The
substantially.
dating pool shrinks.
Even though poly and open and all these other relationship models are really growing, and people are talking about it, they're open. I think still most people want monogamy. Seems like, right?
I
Big
think
cities.
so, but I think it's changing, and I think
It's
that's also why
quick.
the app Field, FEELD, is the app for non-monogamous, kinky, sex positive people. Yeah. Anyways, that's where I'm at. I guess I don't know where I'm at, and that's okay.
Also, it may change depending on who you meet, because you may fall in love with someone, and you may be convinced because of what they want to go a different way.
Very, very, that I very well might. Yeah, I've always said that I'm open to being open.
I like it.
So, like, mainly monogamous, but open to like seeing.
Oh, I thought you said manly monogamous. I was like, what's manly monogamous?
Oh, manly monogamous. Yeah, manly monog.
Manly monog.
That's for your fight club. You can guys talk about that.
Manly monogamous means we are literally punching each other and doing
cute.
Yeah, cute. Toxic manly.
I have a I have a secret to share with you. But
let's hear it.
Okay.
Whisper it.
I have a crush on a tatted up screenwriter who lives in LA that I met on Instagram.
Hey, don't make it weird, Shaun. We have to look at each other.
Oh no, I'm being serious.
Oh, you are? I thought they were talking about me.
No, it's not you.
First, I was gonna say I'm not a screenwriter anymore, Shaun, and also you're making it weird, dude.
No.
No, okay.
No, it's a woman.
Wow. How did you meet this person?
Instagram.
Oh, Shaun, I think this is a good thing because it means you're open. You have a lot of crushes, and there's always someone in your life that you're colliding with. Whether you're in Europe or Canada or LA, there's always someone. It's great.
That is true, and that's why I think I might be polyamorous, or just I've always like developed crushes on multiple people at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused. Maybe I'm just polyamorous.
Are you going to play this out? This crush? What's happening?
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of DMs
there's a FaceTime that's going to happen in the next couple.
But you guys have not gotten together. This is a okay.
Haven't met yet.
Wow, FaceTime date.
Mm-hmm. Which I've never really done. I don't do video dates. I haven't really done video dates, but it feels like the move.
How did the crush form? Just by going through each other's feed?
Yeah, and then DMs.
Well, the FaceTime's going to help because there could be some false advertising.
That's true. I don't think there's false advertising, but
we fill in a lot of blanks because we go through people's feeds and we create this persona of who this. We create a poster, and then sometimes we FaceTime or meet them in person, and they match, and it's great. And other times you're like, "Oh, this is complete projection. I had no idea. This is not who I imagined."
That's why we're gonna FaceTime, because I'm not gonna be there until December, so it doesn't make sense to just. What if she sounds like Fran Drescher?
Oh,
remember the nanny?
in high school. I don't know if I dated, but I hung out one summer with someone who was from Wisconsin. It's like the Fargo area, and she said my name like John. Oh, speaking of icks, God, maybe we might get a lot of pushback here. I've never heard anyone say that and my name in that way, and that alone was kind of a deal breaker because she would be like John, and that's a legit ick, unless she changes her accent.
Okay, everybody who lives in Wisconsin, you're all fantastic. I don't think that's like characteristic of your accent or how you speak.
Also, it's a reflection on me and my judgment. So, and also, look, I was in high school. I was young, and yeah.
And also, Wisconsin. Let's be clear here. Nice place.
Nice place, and also
nice place, nice people.
She was amazing, and the first person ever who went down on me. I was in high school.
Whoa! Wait, is this the Korean blanket?
Korean blanket, 12 and a half seconds.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
John. Let me suck your cock.
No, she didn't say that. She was very sweet. I convinced her that I have never had that before, and I positioned myself as like someone that was, a victim. I'm 17. That's never happened to me. And then her head slowly went down below the Korean blankets, and I remember feeling bad because Korean blankets are made of nylon. They're not breathable.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. So I felt bad, and also I knew it was going to get ripped off because she won't be there for a long time.
Yeah, 12 seconds in heaven. You got ripped off.
I got listen. I was grateful. That first time someone does that to you. I mean, it's a feeling like, I mean, it's like being naked walking into a jacuzzi for the first time. That's the kind of feeling it was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're just gonna leave you guys with that.
Yeah, send me your crush. Would love to.
Oh, I will. Oh, that's funny. Also 657-549-1001 next week, all about breakups.
Yes.
How to break up on purpose. 8
different types of breakups and what's prescribed. And Shaun and I both have a lot of experience as far as helping people through their breakups.
And Shaun has a lot of breakup experience.
Yes,
unfortunately.
So do I. Yeah.
Okay,
also,
good.
I want to say, if you're not going through a breakup, a lot of us are carrying residue from previous breakups, and so it'll be helpful for you to listen as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, John, love you lots. Everybody, be well.
Don't steal my shit, Shaun. That's my dude. Come on.
Okay. One of these days, I will say be well, and you will say have a beautiful week.
I don't want to say have a beautiful week. I don't want to. So the be well thing has been for 20 years, kind of like Mr. Rogers kind of thing. He hangs the sweater up.
Yeah.
Like it's his thing, right? So be well is something that I've been saying for 20 years, and you're slowly stealing it and saying to me, now you say have a wonderful week, but that's not me.
A beautiful week.
I know, I'm not going to say have a beautiful week.
All right. Well, everybody, be well.
Shaun, glad you're back. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Thank you.